I'm Jen, and this is a food forest and filtration garden designed for Mi'kma'ki. It is hopefully a reconciliation with the land. The beginning of it does start in the past. I was approached last year by a dear friend who asked me to design a garden that would honor treaty rights and serve as a peaceful place for faculty, staff, individuals to go at this institution. And I thought, yeah, let's rip up that lawn and let's plant a forest. You know, you want to bring peace to the campus, that's how you're going to do it. So we consulted with a group of elders from Unama'ki, and they had wonderful things to say that matched exactly what we had been hoping to do. I'm so grateful for the knowledge that elders shared. These are a few of their quotes. Lawrence Wells discussed the forest as medicine. Kate McEwen said, "The garden should let people leave their distractions at the gate, allow people to see each other, look eye to eye, and communicate." Gerald Bernard felt it was important to build respectfully, and I think that skills learned in this permaculture course are helping me to know how to build respectfully. And Albert Marshall said, "How do we transform the garden idea to include the well-being of plants and trees?" Which again is informed by this new permaculture knowledge that shines through this plant list. The site is Cape Breton University, which is completely enveloped, except for where the highway passes along it, by early succession forest. It does have a few other community assets on campus already, the community garden, a pollinator garden, a wigwam, and it would be really nice if sort of the overarching management plan for these two projects that I'm about to detail could actually help to interconnect all of these different community assets on the campus. So this is the food forest garden I'm going to talk about, and this is completely conceptual, just something that we may build in the future. So the food forest has many different levels and a plan to feed the soil as well as increase connectivity, and it's a beautiful habitat builder. So this is the site for the food forest garden. It's outside the CBU library. It's really great because there's this small woodlot of early succession forest that's going to help us connect with the surrounding habitat. There is a windbreak of old white pines to the south. It's kind of open on the west, but that's not where the prevailing winds are coming from, and then we're being sheltered to the north by the building. We had hoped to be able to gather water from the roof of the library, but unfortunately it's already all tied into the infrastructure, although there is a possibility to do that in the future. So it's been really great to learn about swales and things like that from our course, because the site is just this perfect, you know, stormwater engineer's dream that just runs right off and doesn't hold on to any water. But we're changing it from a lawn to a forest now, so we want to hold on to some water. So I have just put some blue lines here. Like, this is where the swale would come off of the roof, but that's not happening any longer. But I was thinking, you know, we could hold water and just sort of stick with those natural shapes, those almost like river meanders, and just hold on to water a little bit there and plant the water-loving species in those spots. So the plant list has changed quite a bit since I took this permaculture course. It was originally sort of an Acadian restoration with some early succession plants, but some, you know, aiming for an old Acadian growth forest. But to include food brings different things to mind, and I was trying to figure out how to do that when I spoke to some elders who said that actually the Acadian forest is called such because the Acadians cleared the forest when they came here, and that's what grew back. But before, it was really more of an Appalachian plant assemblage, so you were going to get you know, shagbark hickory, tulip tree, things that don't really grow here anymore. So the plant list about doubled. We got to add some nut trees, some butternut, and actually it's really cool. There is probably about maybe a 30, 40-year-old butternut on the site of the food forest already that was grown by a former dean of science at the university. So that's pretty great. And so we got to add also the shagbark hickory, which I'm hoping does well here, but I really don't know. Beaked hazelnut does grow currently in Cape Breton, but we'll throw some of those in there. And then get heavy on the cherries and berries in the shrub layer. The shrub layer is ideal insect and bird habitat. It's super heavy on berries, flowering shrubs, even the herbaceous list has a lot of flowers to offer for the animals. And the ground cover and root layer are just common forest species. Some of them are edible, like oxalis and wintergreen, and many of them are also medicinal. So it was hard to include all the guilds. I only have one dynamic accumulator in my plant list, and it's coming up in the next part I'm going to talk about. And I didn't really put any alders in the forest garden because I don't think anything's going to be that wet. So then I thought, well, what is a native plant that is going to fix nitrogen for us? And I couldn't really think of one. So if you can think of one, you should send me a message. But I thought guerrilla legumes. You know, snow peas aren't part of this ecosystem at all, but they're perennial and they're delicious. They grow really quick. They fix nitrogen. And part of the peace, friendship, and wellness garden is to create community and to create a safe place and have people invest more than just their time in this garden. Live a little bit of heart there as well. So I thought, you know, if we gave people like snow peas, snap pea seeds, and just let them throw them in, that would be really great and delicious. Snow peas grow really well in Unama'ki because we have long springs and falls. So that chilly weather where it's not too cold to grow, but cold enough to make the pea sweet. To give the forest the best chance to sustain itself, all deadfall is to be left on site. Early succession species will be planted with older growth species. Once the plants are put in, we'll put in an entire tray of 250 sugar maple saplings. And we recommend that all future landscaping on campus should pull from this plant list to create a cohesive and future old growth forest. All right, so this is the filtration system that I came up with for this assignment. So there's talk of installing a parking garage in future years. So I thought, all right, well, let's have a filtration system. So in this photo, you're looking down on the filtration system in the above part, and you're looking at the side of it on the bottom bit. So number one there, so the water's coming in from the left side off of this parking garage, and it's going into this ditch / hedgerow that is planted with pussy willow and alder. The pussy willow is our dynamic accumulator. It's going to accumulate those metals from the parking garage, and the alder, of course, is going to add nitrogen to the soil, which is good because it's at the beginning of the filtration system, so hopefully that will help to flush through it over time. And this would be a really cool spot to inoculate with like oyster fungi because they are good at taking up fuel and residues like that. So this ditch then drains into number 2, which is a reed bed. If you look at the top-down view, you'll see the baffles. So it's just going to move water very slowly along. All of the roots from all the reeds are going to hold on to chemicals and compounds, and things are going to pass through. This should be inoculated with a bacteria that can bioremediate. That would be a super cool research project for a student at the university. After that, it passes out of 2 and into a wetland garden. So This is landscaped to look like a garden. It's got blue flag iris and marsh marigold and arum, and it's beautiful. Well, it will be beautiful. And then that is buffered by, some higher ground. There is drainage. The wetland will move water slowly through it, and it will be buffered by, something from the rest of the food forest plant list. The timeline, well, this was supposed to happen this year, so COVID has already stopped us, but I've shown how that's kind of been a really great thing for us. So hopefully we get the Friendship, Peace, and Wellness Garden built in the first year, and then we could build the filtration system in the second year if the parking garage has been built. I'm not going to go into detail of the list of permaculture principles used, but they are here. And for the future, I was just thinking that once this project is revised, I'd like to make it available online as a free downloadable resource, and maybe help people to restore their Nova Scotia, landscape into a Mi'kma'ki forest. So we'll see. That'd be nice.